Author of This Snake in Mind and the Alcohol Experiment. And today I'm answering readers' questions, and I have an awesome question. And it says, "Hi, Annie, I love your work. It would be great if you could do an article, video, podcast on easy, short ways to communicate to strangers and friends that you don't drink. I would like to avoid saying I stopped drinking or I'm sober, or I'm testing out what it's like to not drink. I would like just a simple sentence that says to that person, yes, I'm not drinking and I'm totally in control of this decision. I'm stronger than the substance. That substance is weak to me. And I want the sentence to be somewhat closed for discussion. Unless, of course, the person would like to talk about how I did it, then I'd be happy to talk. But give me the power over the questions they might be asking, such as, why aren't you drinking?" So this is such a point for all of us that we go through of, how am I going to do this in a way that feels good and authentic and genuine to me? And I actually recently did a video about am I sober and some of the things, because I understand not wanting to take on necessarily even an identity or a definition, and just really wanting it to be a non-issue. And when I was going through my journey, my question wasn't, how can I stop drinking? That was my question for a while, but it wasn't until I shifted the question from how can I stop drinking to how can I make alcohol a non-issue? How can I make it small and irrelevant in my life? How can I make it so that it just doesn't really matter? And when I found the answer to that question, I was elated, and it was amazing, and it was incredible. It was such the best experiences of my life. But then I would go out into social situations and I'd realize, oh my gosh, when I say I'm not drinking, it's not a non-issue for all the people around me. It's actually a big issue. And they start questioning me and they start asking me all these things, and they feel very uncomfortable in some situations and demanding answers. I remember one woman just cornering me and being like, well, wait, are you pregnant? Are you on medication? What's happening? I don't get it. We've always drank together. Why is this changing? And she was literally panicked, and she was a few drinks in at that moment. And she was very upset. And so one of the things we have to realize is that how big or little of an issue we make this is totally up to us. And it's the energy we bring to it more than it's the words we say. I read recently a statistic, and I don't know, I'm sure there's lots of different ways to measure this. I don't know how they measure this, but they said that only 7% of communication is the words coming out of your mouth, right? 93% of communication, according to this statistic, is everything else, all of the nonverbal cues. So saying something with a smile on your face and being happy about it is going to convey something so different than a little oh yeah, I don't really drink anymore, as opposed to, oh, I'm just not drinking right now. Done. Done. And so the energy you bring to it, and what I would do is I would rehearse it to where I felt really good and comfortable saying it, especially if I was going to go out with people who, A, I drank a lot with before, so I knew they'd be inquisitive. B, I knew were also questioning their own relationship, so they were going to add some level of defensiveness and almost personal, being offended to my decision, because they were going to internalize it because my decision was holding up a mirror to them. And C, just people who really expected it of me, right? Or expected it of the situation. And so when I was confronted with those people, especially for the first time, I would literally rehearse it in my mind or in front of the mirror. And so here's a few things that I came up with. And it depends how aggressive you want to be. Again, most of it is so much of it is nonverbal. And really, if you don't make it a big deal, it can become not a big deal. And I've learned that now. So I just say I don't drink, and I don't say anything else. And I just say, oh no, that's okay, I don't drink. What else do you have? And immediately switch from I don't drink to a question for them, which they can't do anything besides answer my question, right? Or, no, I don't drink. Do you have any Diet Coke? No, I don't drink. Do you have any iced tea? Because all of a sudden, instead of opening for them to be like, oh, you don't drink? Oh, why? How long has it been? What's the deal? All of a sudden they have to answer your question. That's the polite thing to do. So, no, I don't drink. Do you have any iced tea? It's oh, okay. And then if they want to come up to you later and say, hey, I've been thinking about not drinking, so tell me about you not drinking. That's interesting to me. Then you can have a real conversation that isn't, from an aggressive standpoint. So, there's a few other things I wrote down, and I think it's really depending how sort of how much you want to put your line in the sand and say no, closed for business, no questions, right? So if you really wanted to go that route, you could be no, I don't drink. I just realized alcohol is a waste of time. Now, of course, that's going to be oh, wait, I'm drinking. And are you telling me I'm wasting my time? But it also will be no, shut down. That's the end of the conversation. You could say, no, I'm just taking a break. Or no, I took a break and I realized I'm just much happier. I'm done. You could say, honestly, and this is something that I do a lot in the early days, is I would order a drink like a vodka tonic, and then I would go and say to the waitress, hey, just hold the vodka for that and every other one coming my way for the rest of the night, because I just wasn't prepared to tell people. And I did that a lot during my pregnancy when I wasn't yet telling people that I was pregnant. That was one of the ways that I did it. And honestly, you just have to find what feels good for you. You can also just say, like, maybe later. Yeah, maybe later, but but for now I'm super dehydrated. I just need some water. Like, maybe later. Like, just put it out of their mind. Just get yourself out of that situation at that moment. Another really important thing to do is, if you don't want to get questions about it, have a drink in your hand, whether it's one you bring or whether you go early and go to the bar and get something that's already looks like, if you get a pint of tonic water and lime, it will look like a vodka tonic, even though it's not, for example. So you can always just already have something in your hand. Nobody offers you a drink when you already have something that looks like a drink in your hand. That's pretty much 100% of the time true. It's really easy to do that. You could say something like, oh, great question. Why aren't I drinking? Great question. The craziest thing. I found out I'm so much happier when I don't drink. It's so crazy, right? I know. So what's for dinner? And I always like that, just dovetailing into another question they have to answer, especially if you want to keep it closed. I would also say that as humans, when someone asks, well, what do you want to drink? You can approach that so many different ways. You can be like, oh, I don't know. I'm not really drinking right now. Well, what's that's going to do to the person asking is be like, oh my gosh, okay, well, why not? Well, I need to help you out of this. Like, I need to convince you that you should be, because you obviously feel sad for yourself. So never come at it with this energy of feeling sad for yourself. Always come at it from this powerful energy, like, oh, what do you want to drink? I personally love to say yes instead of no. So do you want to drink? Yes, I would love some water. I'm so dehydrated. Yes, I would love, do you have any coffee? I really need the caffeine. Yes, I would love an iced tea. I just need to be refreshed. And I always give a reason for it. You're saying yes. We don't like to say no to each other as human beings. We just don't. But so you're saying yes, but then you're giving an alternative and you're giving the reason, which is super, super helpful. So I think those are all my reasons. You guys, put your reasons, put your things that you say in the comment on this, learn from each other. Let's make this a conversation about how it is just to talk about this, because it can be super uncomfortable. But one of the things that I've noticed after many years of this and thousands of people is that honestly, most of the discomfort is in our nonverbal cues and the energy we bring to it. If we bring a questioning energy, we're going to get questions. If we bring an uncertain energy, the other person's going to push us on it. If we bring but if we bring a confident energy and we bring a happy energy and we bring a strong energy and we bring an empowered energy, that energy often shuts down the conversation faster than any words ever will. So thank you so much and have a great day.